For an update now on the situation in the Jeppestown fire, let's welcome Johannesburg Emergency Management Services spokesperson, Mr. Robert Mulaudzi. Robert, as always, thank you so much for your time. So what can you tell us at this stage? Have you been able to actually uncover what the real cause of the fire is?
Good afternoon, Alicia, and afternoon to the viewers. Yeah, at this stage, the cause of the fire incident is still a subject of investigation. We are not in a position to inform the residents as to what might be the cause of the fire. However, we can confirm that we have now handed over the building to South African Police Service to continue with the investigations. In terms of our jurisdiction, which is conducting firefighting operations, we have done that. We have made sure that those 4 bodies are recovered, and then they were handed over to the forensic services to start doing their work. And also from our side, we have actually swept the whole building in terms of removing any uncertainty in terms of any other person who might still be unaccounted for. So we can also confirm that we have managed to move in all the floors. Right now, the building or the area is under the police at this stage.
Mm-hmm. Robert, take us through the scene. I mean, initially when you arrived at this building, what did you find on the scene in regards to the condition of the place, as well as the living conditions that the residents there are actually staying under? We're getting reports that the building, like the Usindiso fire building as well, was occupied illegally. And what can you tell us about the damage also that has been incurred by the structure?
Yes, we can confirm that at around 1:15 this morning, we were called as the fire service in the city of Johannesburg that there is a building which is on fire at the corners of Yani and Ulyss Street in Jeppestown. Yes, indeed, on arrival, we found out that it was an abandoned building, which is like an industrial abandoned building, because the area where the fire occurred, Alicia and the viewers, is that it's not a residential area, it's an industrial site. So meaning all the buildings which are adjacent in that area are, buildings which are belonging to like industry or factories. So whatever is that, the building has been abandoned, so therefore people in the area moved in and erected structures in the form of shacks. Shacks, they build them using corrugated irons or masenke, so that our listeners can be able to understand. They're using cupboards, they're using partitions to create spaces so inside that building. So that will be on the first floor and also on the second floor. And also on top of the building, the roof of that building, they've actually erected also some structures using bricks and blocks also to build some structures on top of that building. So that is what is happening. So the building is abandoned. So of course, it doesn't have electricity. So there's a lot of illegal connection. Of course, maybe other people are using any other heating devices like paraffin stove. Some others are using like your gas cylinders, because we actually found some of the gas cylinders as and when we were busy conducting our firefighting operation. So I'm trying to give you a picture of the building. The building is abandoned, so people went inside to create structures inside that building using all those materials which I've mentioned, which makes it them vulnerable to fire incidents because of the material which they are using to erect those kind of structures. Yes, of course, it was a very difficult operation because there was a risk of our firefighters being electrocuted while they are, extinguishing that fire, or being injured because of, the area. There's got a lot of materials which are there inside that building, but due to the experience which our men and women in the fire service have, they managed to deal with the fire incidents, of which we are happy about, and there were no any other further injuries which were reported except the 3 people, residents, who were treated. One was treated for serious injuries, and that patient received medical care on site, and the patient was transported to Charlotte Maxeke Hospital for further medical care. The other 2 residents who received some smoke inhalation, they were also treated on site, and they were transported to nearby Hillbrow for further medical care. At this stage, since I'm talking to you now, we have activated our disaster management officials who are on site, consolidating the list of the affected people on site, which is individually, they come up to about 226 of the people individually, which might make between around 60, 70 households. So our disaster management, together with the human settlements, they are facilitating in terms of emergency shelters, and also making sure that those residents receive some relief materials now as we find ourselves in this situation. Of course, also our colleagues from City Power are also on site, removing those illegal connections which I spoke about earlier on, to make sure that all those illegal connection cables are removed and the area is clear for any connections. I would say that is the latest update regarding the fire incident.
Very comprehensive indeed, Robert. Thank you for that. I mean, as EMS, what caution do you have for residents that do find themselves actually residing in these type of buildings?
Yeah, our message to our residents is that they need to refrain from, of course, occupying this kind of residence, because yes, they might be closer to maybe where they work or the areas of, whatever business they might be conducting. But the dangers are that we have seen, previously, that most of these buildings are catching fires because of, their housekeeping in those buildings, and also, illegal connections. They're using heating devices which make them vulnerable. So our message to say they need to stay away from those areas, because there's a risk of fires, there's a risk of building collapse, which might occur in those areas, like we have witnessed in the building this morning. I mean, they've created another layer on top of the building. So you can imagine that building, when it was built, it was not built to be able to withstand the weight which it has now. So anything can happen in those buildings. So our message is to say that they need to refrain from occupying those buildings. However, from our side, as a fire service in the city of Johannesburg, we've got all our programs in place to educate our communities out there about the dangers of occupying this building through our priority services, which is public education unit, and also our fire services. They are also intensifying their compliance operation, conducting building inspections in these buildings to make sure that we minimize or prevent fire incidents which we have been witnessing in the last few days or months.
All right, Robert, thank you so much for that comprehensive update. That was Johannesburg EMS spokesperson with the latest on the Jeppestown building fire, Mr. Robert Mulaudzi.